Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm Martin Wong here, and with you, another breakfast show almost at the month of November. We already have the last 2 more months to the year, and unfortunately Malaysia has a little bit of hiccup after Friday, the announcement of Cukai Makmur. I think many of you would have seen this morning the Cukai Makmur has caused the market to lose. We will check later on. The last time I checked was almost 20 points, 1.3% down in here, as many of the big cap stocks has been affected by the 100 million tax that is imposed by the government that go into footing the COVID-19. Of course, we at the Rakyat Malaysia will have to say special thank you to all the major corporations which have already benefited from the COVID-19, and such they have to foot the tax. Now let's look at what we have for you this morning in our breakfast show. Of course, let's take a look at our market this morning here, and definitely if you look at the market, what we have so far, it hasn't been very rosy. As you can see right now, the market is down and down 19 points in here. All right, so what I like to do, just to bring out the Trade VSA website, and just to show you where we are. And this is a website you can log in, Trade VSA, and that's really a good picture where we have. As such, we know about a week or 2 weeks ago, when the red pentagon comes out, there is no surprise why we see the continuum market of breaking down in here. If you see red pentagon, that's the one that you need to be very alert. At least do something about it, take some partial profit and so forth. As you can see today, the market right now it's down 20 points. All the big cap is down, Telecom Malaysia is down, CIMB is down, because these are subjected to the tax, and the property and construction sector is the only remaining two very hot property in here. Of course, one of the things was really impacted also is the outflow of the foreign fund, which continue to move towards the negative territory. That's which explains where and what we are today. You can see many of these are all turning red pentagon, even for the RHB jewel in here. And of such, take a look at the hot sectors in here. There will be some pretty good picks is the property and construction sector, which we will look at some of the pentagon that happened earlier on this property stocks that has and could have make you some form of price gain in here. Of course, those of you who are in here early, good morning. Thank you for sharing this video in your timeline, and do key in your stock review so we would have a little bit more time to look into those stocks that you have. But take note, do follow the red pentagon and the yellow trend zone if you do see them, and you should at least take some evasive action to prevent disaster from happening to your portfolio. All right, let's move on to the next sector that we talk about is the Pentagon Guider. So Pentagon Guider, we are looking at the beginners. So most of you are generally, I would say, beginners. So we'll be looking at Pentagon, which does give you an area opportunity to accumulate at much earlier prices. Of course, we also have to manage the expectation that anything that you buy, they don't go up very fast. As such, we also told many members of the public, as we are seeing red pentagon right now. So usually when you get red pentagon on the KLCI, things don't move nicely. Many of these stocks tend to move sideways or towards downside. But let's look at the news headline that we say is the Cukai Makmur, which we talk about. These companies are subjected to the 133 prosperity tax. Okay, this is due to the COVID-19. As such, many of the public listed companies that you can see, whole bunch of them, about 145, which earn more than 100 million for the financial year in 2029, and 125 also did very similar. So you're talking about this, some sort of 100 over million, with respectively about 33% additional of 9%, so each minimum contributing about 9 million a piece. So if you have 145, doing your maths, okay, 145, that's max, about 9 million per minimum, also 1.3 billion, okay, which will go into the coffer. So at maybe about less than a million or million two, that's pretty good. But considering the expenditure for our budget 2020, which I will cover this coming this coming Wednesday, so make sure you join me on Wednesday. I don't have the artwork yet. This coming Wednesday I will comment on the budget 2022 and what are those sectors will be impacted. So make sure you join me on Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. all right, then more on that. Now, next story is also on the FBM KLCI. As we could see, the proposal of Inari, and that's why Inari should have some sort of support. If not for the Cukai Makmur, I think Inari will be heading for another likelihood high. Let's take a look. Where is Inari this morning? Here, okay, and going to the KLCI, switching to a wider chart here. And you can see we click on Inari, and Inari is on the trajectory of going higher. No doubt it does has a red pentagon. As soon as the earning came out, this is the red pentagon, that the upthrust sign of weakness in here. But this also means institutional, whether it is foreign or local, would have to buy more of Inari, which does seize what we call PE expansion, which we did talk about it, remember, right, on the Sumo, right, one of the Zoom workshop. We have not, maybe you could join me next time in our future fundamental stocks. So these are what we call generally stocks that has a lot of potential to even move higher depending on the sector. Of course, if you look from in here, in the past, banks has been made the heavyweight on the main index, and that's why today you will see the banking stock drops. I think CIMB did drop too. Let's look at CIMB banks and others. Let's look at CIMB bank. I know that one dropped about a fair bit, but it did make a good run previously, and it already hit red pentagon. Okay, hit red pentagon already, and you could see here. And previously it was fine, you could see the nice move upwards, but today the market CIMB is down, and we took the livestock prices here, it is down 2.5% on SMARTRobie in here. So all in all, hopefully with the inclusion, not confirmed yet, as I said before, Inari into the first technology stocks of the FBM 30, out of the 100 FBM, they do have it. So as the non-performer previously was Supermax, was replaced by Mr. DIY, you do have the bottom 5, which usually are the rotational type. So they are underperforming, definitely the rubber glove. So, but I do think that Hatalega and Top Glove being the largest cap, they will likely be maintained in there to see that some sort of a rubber glove inclusion in the FBM 30 in here. Why is this is important? Because if you do see more technology stocks coming into FBM KLCI, then you'll see our stock market likely to lift higher rather than lower, because predominantly, as I said before, it always been in the banking stacks in here. All right, if you have any comment, just type in on the right hand side. I'd like to hear it also too. All right, let's move on to our next story in here, which is the interest rate. Now, all things being said, interest rate is likely to stay unchanged at 1.75 at least to end of the year. So that tells you with all things remain to be status quo in here, right? And next is the crude oil prices. So a report from the research house in here, an industrial observer, there is a upward pressure on oil prices going forward in here. So higher prices does always mean higher inflation. So the crude oil prices will do well. Counters, like let's take a look at counters that we have, and of course one of them would definitely be hibiscus. can see where hibiscus is, but of course this morning everything also dropped, so hibiscus, no surprise, it will also drop too, right? Yep. 2.2%. We have the whole KLCI dropping. That's why we see the red color. So on the shorter term, there will be a lot of pressure in here, but once the market absorbs some of this news, it will hit back where it is, likelihood to be an uptrend. But do take note, higher resistance at 1600 is still very strong. As such, this morning the market has fallen back to let me just scroll back up here. Just now we saw was around the 1542, which means we are still in the negative territory compared to last year. Now next is the tech sector for QES. News came out last week about on 2021 QES Group posting a stellar results, which show the net profit jump 113% year on year to 10.8 million, while revenue grew 36 million to 106.9 million first half of June 30th. So this company QES is really benefiting from the high demand for electrical EV car sensors, 5G and IoT, giving EES a strong base for their testing equipments, okay, which is all over the world in here, very similar to some of the tech startup, technology setup, semiconductors supporting business in here. As such, the earnings also jump to 1.29 cents. However, if you look at the chart wise, it hasn't been great. Let's type in QES. And you can see QES stock price, stock chart, and you can see the trend has been really hitting low at this support in here at 88 cents. Now it's 72 cents, and also turning red banner. There is still a lot of sellers that you see in here, so likewise this is likely to stay downwards because any possibility of smart money at 88 and 86 cents profit taking are taking place. So take note that some of these stocks hasn't been supported by the institutional debt like Inari and so forth. That's why you're seeing this stock likely to undergo some sort of profit taking in here. So take note of this. Now let's move on to the next story. Is on the focus on the US market side. Now no doubt the Malaysian side has been really dampener sentiments in here, but the US is definitely a different market, and for myself and some of our members which are traditionally been getting them to move to the US market has fared pretty well in here. And why this is important, because we're coming in the month of November, December and January, which are generally the three best months in the stock market. For those of you who's been long enough like me in the stock market would know this is a time to be putting your money in and not taking your money out. So as I said before, it's always good to diversify out from where you are into new markets. At least your potential earnings and potential wealth accumulation, which we are doing a wealth accumulation roadshow on the 15th and 16th, and I want to extend that invitation to you where you can get a chance to test out our Trade VSA 360. That's right, our Trade VSA 360. It's our new trader and investor dashboard with stock analysis in here, something I did showcase earlier on too. Now moving on, along with the same line, a lot of the earnings which is coming out from the US S&P front has been very healthy, including even dividend payment in here. And one such company is definitely Ford, which has raised their quarterly payout, and that's why you see, let's switch on to the wider chart here, moving to the US market. S&P 500. Let me just show you S&P 500 first. Compare where the KLCI is like, you know, we have a red pentagon, but the US market continue to break above the old high that you see. The last red pentagon was on the 5th of September, right? So this is the market that you want to be. So right now you can see Ford, you can type in F and we send, and hitting stock chart, stock comment here. That's the stock fundamentals in here. looks pretty good too, the stock fundamentals. All right, except which in the past did not pay any dividend, but now they are paying dividend here. Okay, it was up 1.3%. It's kind of interesting to see it in contrast. A Ford, a company which is only about $13 compared to Tesla, almost touching $1,100. And you could see in here, it did turn red Pentagon in anticipation of not so good results, but instead they did give out a good result and reinstated back their dividend. As such, the stock price really gaps up in here. Now take note, you may not see the green Pentagon yet, is because of the SOW uptrust, right? Pentagon doesn't like uptrust, so a lot of uptrust is denote a lot of potential possible potential weaknesses that is coming too. So all things being said, take note of the US market, which is in booming time. All right, now let's focus also on SGX, a little bit more positive going forward compared to our KLCI in here, and the one that we'll be focusing, which is by the Singapore Business Time, is SIA, SGX, and ART. But one of these stocks, of course, we want to look at the STI market this morning here. And you could see this green Pentagon, right, way back on 26th of September, definitely is telltale sign of all. And you could see the last red Pentagon was well reflected. You could pick it up very early on the 26th of September. So this is a really good comparison between the three stock exchange where you are and where the market is really heading in here. So all in all, let's type in the SGX, which is the Singapore Stock Exchange, SGX, and it is S6068. And you look at stock chart, stock comment. Why I like about this is because of the continued accumulation of this chart right at the bottom there, just below the $9 in here. Very nicely done, this chart in here. And eventually, I do think the market's going to break up. You can see the low volume, a very classic smart money kind of accumulation in here, and eventually waiting for that breakout, like we've seen many of the bigger stocks like Inari, Revenues, and so forth. Of course, the Bursa today has also broken below the ATR stop loss. So another differentiation between the two countries in here, where Bursa are affected by the Cukai Makmur, which is really going to be in the bus line for the next few days until at least I cover more of them on Wednesday night. That's right. So make sure you join me on Wednesday night, 9:30, to talk more on it. And on our past leaderboard, we have not many winners, as I said before. This is also due to the KLCI, but some of them did occur on segments on days when we did not do our breakfast show, so we don't pick it up. And definitely one of them we can take a look at it is to go to the KLCI Robie chart here, and switching back to the KLSE Robie chart, Robie chat, and KLCI market today. And if you look down at the Bursa 30, okay, hit this one here, and you could see this is the stocks that was picked up by, oh no, you need to go over the Pentagon. That's right, this is the live prices. Go over the Pentagon and you will see the latest Pentagon chart leader, which actually comes. Now first of all, it's SP Satir. Now we all know the property sectors had run much earlier, so that's why I always say important to check out the hot sectors. And then Aeon, Hexstar, CMSB, MKH, which is another property sectors which made about 9% return. But let's look at SP Satir on the 30th of September. SP Satir, so just type in here SP Satir. So SP Satir, you can look from the chart, very nice, beautifully done, right? You can see from the low base right just before 120 here, right, 120, and then started to move up in here. And if you look at this stocks, if you have gone in on the 30th of September, that would be a 26% return from the green Pentagon. Definitely pay dividend for that one. So that's really one way to look at it. Of course, you always need to align those trades that you have with the sector. Of course, in our breakfast show, we usually show you some trades that happen to be in here, but do use some skills that we've been teaching you all this while. Look at the sectors, then look at the setup, then you want to do the trade. Now, even if you look at last week, Syntax, which is another a good growth company, let's take a look at Syntax last week. Okay, on the 25th of October, which we took already. You need some time for the stocks to run. You can see here, right now you got green pentagon. 25th of October was somewhere around here. This is the part where you had green, and also you can see this is the old high. Right now the market is holding up. You can see this was a low volume here, very nice. So that's does tell you that you need to be a bit patient with this stock. The market did get a bit lower, right, but it's closing up very nicely in here. So this Cukai Makmur will temporarily halt any up over in here, but you should keep an eye on the Syntax and see if the coming days there will be a bit of run from here. All right, now let's look at the this week for episode 133, 1st of November. It will be not Syntax, let me see, it will be TGuan. Okay, so let's look at TGuan. Now TGuan has a nice line change earlier on. You could see here a nice line change here, right, hitting around 289. So what we're going to do now is to go on to bringing you the live stock price. There where we are. It did have a nice line change of 6%, right, from a very low base here, and then now pull back minus 0.7. So that's where we are. Okay, let's look at the long-term trend. Long-term trend, it actually turned green pentagon on 23rd of August. On 23rd of August, which is a good thing. All right, and turning green pentagon. So we switch to a daily chart here. That will be on the 29th. of October. Okay, so this is green pentagon on 29 October. Okay, so important price level. So what we do for looking at price level, we will switch to TGuan and we will look at the trading plan. Okay, trading plan here. So trading plan in here, you could see just turn green pentagon, so strong combination for trend up here. R2, which is 291, R1, sorry. Let's make it 3 ringgit anyway. And then you have R2, which is 318 or 320. Okay, which is about another 11% out there. So weekly resistance is 1289. I think that is something that is going to be testing soon. It did open up a bit higher today, test the old high here, right? So why is the market moving down? You have to take note, we have very climatic volume on the 29th. Okay, so very climatic volume on 29 October. So expect market to pull back. Okay, low support. Let's talk about the last low support. So we will switch over to exit strategy here, and we have the S1, which is about 8%, or we will take 6%, the weekly support 267. Okay, weekly support at 2 2.67, okay, which is a 6% in here, for 6% stop loss from the last closing price of 286, right? 286 this morning. It's closing now at 284. Good opportunity for TGuan, and we all know TGuan does a lot of packaging in here. Of course, you can always check out by going to the website no more. Okay, last resistance high, we will know that it's around 242. Last resistance high, it already broke through here, and you have 312, okay, 318 or 320. Okay, how long is it trending period? So if you look back on the last trending period that it has, from here onwards, to here, you're talking about 21 bars, okay, 33 days, 1 month, okay. So all being said, and as I said before, November month and December month, if this is a good strong rally, you'll see TGuan start to rally first. So have a trading plan, know what to do, and let's hope the Cukai Makmur news is pricing very quickly, and then the market can resume its following stage in here. But take note, the KLCI will only move back once the banking stock is stabilized, because predominantly it is more biased towards the banking stock in here. Okay, so that is the trading plan beginner for Pentagon Guider. All right, let's go on to the remaining segment that we have here. Is an update on our portfolio, which is around 12%, 11% from January to October so far in here, and I do hope your portfolio has fared at least on the positive territory compared to KLCI, which is around the 4% to 6% downtrend in here. So how has your portfolio? Now if you want some great idea to turn over your portfolio, definitely do join us, and of course for our members, do join us on our wealth building roadmap on the 15th and 16th of November, 2 weeknights, and you get a chance to test drive our Trade VSA Trader Dashboard with a lot of new features and new benefit that will take you to another level, the 360 level, where you can have both fundamental and technical to analyze. And of course, for our existing member, you get a chance to win an iPad. That's right, an iPad. When you find any stock, screen them through, post it into our Google Trade VSA review, and if you are selected, every month you get 30 ringgit Grab voucher. So make sure you, if you are a member of our Trade VSA, take this opportunity to win some Grab voucher in here, and have a chance to win also the iPad at the end of the year. All right, and our so-called wealth building, because we find that we have helped many of our members and also our clients to build wealth over time. It's not going to be overnight, it's over time, and we do feel the year 2022 will be another great year again. Maybe not so much in the KLSE, but don't forget the wealth building. We are also extending some great ideas about trend area, sectors of forecast, and some of the skills and the tools that you need to make your wealth grow. I'm sure you all want to grow your wealth, isn't it? Correct. But you must do it the right and proper way, and take note of this one here. So 15 and 16 for our members is absolutely free. For the public, we just completed our early bird prices in here. Now we resume back to our normal price in here for 1388 for the 2-day workshop plus 3-month subscription on our on our Trade VSA 360 in here. Okay, so we come to the part where we'll be looking at some shares right now. If you have some shares you want me to look at, definitely we also appreciate that you can go over to Google Play Store and Apple Play Store to give us a review on our SMARTRobie if you've been using it, and also give us a feedback on this matter itself. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the stocks that you all may have for me. Alright, if there is no stocks, many of you may already be out of the market because of the continuing downtrend of our KLCI. I think that's also a good thing, right? And I will see you on Wednesday. All right, thank you for coming, and don't forget to give us a review on our Google Play Store, or at least go over to the Apple Google Play Store for our SMARTRobie in here, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. Bye bye.